Hello and welcome to Dee Dee Blooms. I am watering this morning my Paphiopedilums and my one Phragmipedium. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to introduce you to the ones that I have. And I pulled them all out from their northern window growing space. I made a video of my northern window. If you want to check it out, it's my very first video for my channel, and it shows the big bright window that I have on the north side of my house in my front room, where I grow not only my Paphiopedilums but my Phalaenopsis, my Bulbophyllum, and some other specialty miniature orchids that I have, such as Lepanthes and Ornithocephalus, and a few other types like my jewel orchids, etc. So if you're curious about my northern window, please go check out that video. Now, however, my Phragmipedium, which I'm going to start with my Phragmipedium, my one and only. It's a very young plant. This one I grow in my south window exposure area. I also made a video of that grow area. It's a combination video of my eastern window and my southeastern and southern window grow areas. So if you want to check that out, that's also in my video list. Or I created playlists, which actually is titled Grow Areas. So this Phragmipedium, I purchased it back in June of 2021. It has thankfully doubled in size. At first I wasn't even sure if it was going to make it. It was pretty small, pretty frail. I did a quick repot, and little by little it has been growing this whole new growth right in front here. So the original growth is back here, and it had partly produced this growth, which has since continued to produce leaves, and it's also got another new little leaf right down in here. So I think it's doing okay. It's called Rosy Charm. I got it through an Etsy seller. It didn't come with a label, so I don't really have much more information. I'm just caring for it as a Phragmipedium, which they like higher light. And I only water this with distilled water. This is my cat Twinkie coming to say hi. And for the majority of the year, about 9 months out of the year, I keep a puddle in the bottom here. So I just use this little generic Tupperware for now until I figure out a better looking setup. I always keep a puddle of water because everything I read is they tend to actually grow along riverbanks. So a lot of times they're growing in very moist, wet conditions. And so, so far it seems to be going okay. I think I started over fertilizing. I got a few brown leaf tips. And I think that's because of some over fertilizing I did last summer. And so I'm definitely want to keep to a weekly schedule and make sure that my solution is weak. A very low amount of fertilizer at each dose. So again, that's my Rosy Charm, one and only Phragmipedium, and they can get pretty big, and that's why I only have one. I have so many other orchids, I'm not sure where this is going to fit in the future, but someday I'll figure it out. Let me try to remove Mr. Twinkles here. Here we go. So back onto my Paphiopedilums. I have the two different types, the mottled leaf, and which are these type with the patterns, and I also have the strap leaf type. So I have two strap leaf. And my very first one I purchased last April from Cal Pacific Orchid Farm here in San Diego County is this one, and I'll put a picture up of, I bought it in bloom, and the bloom was just amazing. Here's the tag Paphiopedilum yellow leopard jungle jewel crossed with Hagrid's mark super wide petal. And again, the bloom was just so amazing. I'm sure I've put the picture up already, but of course it reminded me of Feed Me Seymour, Little Shop of Horrors, and I had to have it. And it's been doing pretty well. So it hasn't bloomed for me yet. I can't count the bloom it came in because I didn't grow that, but it has put out these two growths right here. One here. Oh, sorry, Twinkie keeps rubbing on my phone. And one here. So I've got two growths. Do you want to be the star of the show? Is that what you want to be? You want to be the star of the show? Okay. Two growths, and I'm hoping they will bloom for me. So they've been growing good. Yeah, everything's good there. My other strap leaf one I got also in April 2021. I think I told you I got this in April 2021. But this one I got from Sunset Valley Orchids. It's a lot larger of a specimen. I made a video of this one because it recently bloomed for me. And I had also bought it in bud, and I'll put up pictures of the flowers that it opened up after I bought it. And I've only been able to bloom it with one flower so far, and I think that's because it probably needs more light. The strap leaf variety tends to like more light than the mottled leaf. But this is my Paph Shinye's Pride Sunset Valley Orchids AMAOS crossed with Paph Joanna Burkhart SVO. And again, I made a bloom video on this one, and you can find it in my playlists in my bloom videos. The other one I purchased at the same time as my second strap leaf, it was my very first mottled leaf one. And this is from Sunset Valley Orchids, and it's Paphiopedilum Mastercianum SVO crossed with Paph Macabre Mother Mary. And it was not in bloom when I purchased it. It had just one fan. I'm going to turn it around here. Had just this one fan, and it has since bloomed for me. I'll show you in a moment. I also did a bloom video on this, so you can check out my playlist for bloom videos. Anything that's in bloom, I've made a bloom video, and you can find in my playlist under bloom videos. But it had this one fan, and then since then it has started growing this fan for me. It's all kind of wonky, so I think I'm going to change it around as to the direction it's facing the window. But I got this new fan growing here, so I'm hoping that will bloom for me in the future. It seems like it's doing good. I'll probably repot it this spring, but the bloom is way up here. Still going. The next one I purchased was an Etsy purchase. This one I purchased in June of 2021. It's another mottled leaf version. And it's the Paph Macaulay Curtis CI Maudii Napa Valley HCC AOS. I did a bloom video on this one because it did bloom for me. When I bought it, it was not in spike. So it just is this one fan, and it put out a spike for me. It bloomed beautifully. I'll put a picture up. And then as it was in bloom, I started losing some of my lower leaves. And once again, I've got another leaf here starting to go yellow. And so this fan is on its way out. And I'm a little concerned because I do not have any new growth to speak of. I don't see a nubbin. I don't see anything. So I'm just crossing my fingers that it starts doing something for me soon, because I really love this one. I hope it's not a goner, a one and done. And so my next purchase, I went a little nuts. I went back to Sunset Valley Orchids, and I bought some miniatures. So I got these four all along here. from Sunset Valley Orchids. I'm gonna go back here. And most of these are a very similar cross. So I have the Paphiopedilum SVO AMAOS crossed with Paphiopedilum, super cute. So it's a Thyanum, just gonna point that out. Miniature mottled leaf. It's been doing good. I got a new fan growth back here. This had bloomed, I'll put up a picture. And this one had already bloomed. So I have 2 fans that already bloomed and I have 1 new growth. The next one also has Thyanum in it. Thyanum. It's a Paphiopedilum crossed with Paphiopedilum. Again, cutest little mottled leaves. If I remember correctly, I don't think this one bloomed for me. There's a spike here. One of these has never bloomed. Like, I've never seen the bloom. So I'll figure that out with my pictures. But whichever ones have bloomed, I'll put up a picture up on the screen. But I've got this new fan right here. And this fan was also growing when I bought it. So I've got the potential for this fan to bloom and then eventually this fan. So these 2. And this one has the spike that's done. The next one has the Thyanum in it as well. It's the Paphiopedilum Oriental Express crossed with Paphiopedilum Perfect Circle. And if I remember correctly, this one has not bloomed for me. So this is a brand new fan that I've grown. Sorry for the interruption there. So this one has 3 fans. This has a done flower spike. This one does not, and this one does not. So I have 2 potential blooming points. Cutest little mottled leaf miniatures. And then this one's a bit bigger, but I was just stunned by the leaves on it. And not even just the top of the leaves, but let me quick go back to this miniature and show you the back of the leaf. It's pretty, right? It's got kind of pretty purpley, a little bit of green. Kind of reminds me of my Calathea collection, which I also have done a video on my Calathea collection. Not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but all of the prayer plant types have the purple underside. So I guess I got something for purple undersides. Well, this one here, look at the underside of the leaf. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, I could stare at the underside. And it's very, depending on the light exposure, it's obviously a little different here and there, but I love it. It's definitely got character on both sides. So this one was not in bloom when I bought it in July 2021. And this is a Paphiopedilum Cherry Stone crossed with Paphiopedilum Pink Pouch. And it has been growing some new growths for me, or fans. I have about 4 new fans. So this one here, this one, let's see here, this one, this one inside here has an old flower spike. So this one's an old fan. Look at that coloration. I just fell in love. So we'll see. I think I got a little too much light exposure in my northern window. This leaf is probably done for. But it's so gorgeous. The underside. Just. So yeah, hopefully someday I'll get this one to bloom for me. That's that one. And then also in July, I got another mottled leaf. But this one I got from Cal Orchid during their summer Hummer sale. So it is the Paphiopedilums Delight. So that is a micranthum crossed with Armeniacum. Has never bloomed for me. I just have this one fan. There's some things I've been concerned about it. I haven't repotted it yet. I'm kind of thinking about taking it out this spring and repotting. But like this leaf has curled in on the sides. And I don't know if it's maybe I didn't give it sufficient water for a certain time period, but it has stayed that way. This leaf finished growing and it also started curling in on the sides. Let's see if I can show you. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on it, but they're stiff and curled in, and it's just not like all my other Paphiopedilums. It might just be the genetics of it. I don't know, but the bottom leaf isn't like that, which I definitely didn't grow. Actually, both bottom leaves. It's the ones that have been growing in my care that eventually they start curling in on the sides, and they're stiff and like stuck that way. So again, any suggestions would be real helpful. And this leaf has grown in my care, and so far it's nice and open, it's pretty. I'm just concerned, this one was nice and open and pretty. I'm concerned this is going to go the same path. So if anyone knows of anything, when I got it, it actually had some mealybugs on it. I feel like I've dealt with the infection. I didn't repot it. The potty mix is starting to smell wonky, so that's why I'm also thinking of repotting it. But I really don't think there's an infestation of anything. But if somebody has any experience with Paphiopedilum leaves doing this, curling in and stiffening, please, I would love some advice. And then the last ones I got were this December 2021 at Cal Orchid's open house. And I got them, not that I needed any more mottled leaf Paphiopedilums, but their leaves are so gorgeous. So here's this one. It's a limey green. I did a video on this. It was blooming when I purchased it. So there's a bloom video. So go to my playlist. You can see the bloom, but also post a picture in this video. But just gorgeous. So here's the flower spike that I cut when the bloom was done, and it was already growing a small new fan, and it has been growing really well, and it's working on this next leaf. This is the Fair Maud. So that's the Paphiopedilum Farianum SVO crossed with Paph Maudii Los Osos AM AOS. Just gorgeous leaves. I love it. And it's, if you look at the ones in the back, the miniatures, you can see the comparison of how limey green these leaves are compared to them back there. And then this one also had a different pattern. So you have the limey green with the real dark. So I'm just going to scan back to Fair Maud. You can just see the difference in the patterns of the leaves. They're also unique. Trying to help it focus better. This one I also got at the open house in December 2021. This is the Paph callosum flat dorsal crossed with self. And Mr. Fred Clark, when I had this in my box, said I picked a really good one. So that's a high compliment from Fred Clark. So yeah, it's a young plant. It's just got the one fan. It's really happy, healthy, as always from Sunset Valley Orchids, and it seems like it's been doing pretty well. So I've had it for several months now. Real happy with it. So that's my whole collection. I had to save my Phragmipedium from Twinkie Cat. He wanted a good nibble over here, so, but he has calmed down. That is my Paphiopedilum and my one lone Phragmipedium collection. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. If you like to see my collection like this, please give the video a thumbs up. I plan on doing a series of these with types of orchids that I have quite a bit of. For example, like dendrobiums and oncidiums. I still have to make those videos, as well as a grow area video of my back patio. I've been waiting for a few new orchids I've had on order from the Midwest to ship to me to complete my collection out on the patio before making that video. But someday soon that's going to happen. But yeah, I'm trying to share my collection little by little. I have a very large collection, and I like the thought of just featuring a section or type of orchids. And again, you hitting the thumbs up or like button tells me that you're interested in seeing my collection, and maybe want to discuss more tips on how I'm growing. So, and speaking of tips on how I'm growing, for all the Paphiopedilums, I water them in summer minimum twice a week. I fertilize them weekly with a 4th week flush. I do have periods of time in the winter that I ratchet back, and I only do every other week. It just depends on the growth. So I watch their growth. If they're in movement, I'm making sure to consistently give them feed. If they're kind of looking stalled and just not doing much week to week, I ratchet back on the fertilizer. So it's kind of, you just kind of gotta watch them, in my opinion. I'm by no means an expert. These are all, I'm not even a year into owning any one of these. So I cannot claim to be an expert, but so far I haven't killed any. So if that means anything, that's a good thing, or I feel it's a good thing. As far as humidity in my home, in my front room, I have relative humidity as low as 35 to 40% I've seen when I've opened up the house in winter. Because I'm in Southern California, I can do that in the middle of winter. We get really nice weather. So I've seen it drop in the front room lately down to 35%, and then at the most it's like 65 up to 70%. I have a very large aquarium in the front room, so that helps to sustain a higher relative humidity. I haven't had to use any humidifiers this winter, so, which I like, because that's extra maintenance in itself, but very handy humidifiers to help with humidity levels. So I think that's helped me be successful in growing these. So far, so good. I've rebloomed some of them. Like I said, this guy, and I think if I give it more light, if I figure out a better lighting situation for it, I'll get the multifloral, because this one has the potential, and so does the Hagrids over there, for blooming more than one flower at a time. And I really want to see if I can achieve that. So yeah, that's all I can think of for now. If you have any questions on care, or just want to talk about any of the types, again, really looking for some advice on this Fumi's Delight and why the leaf is doing this curling. Appreciate any advice. Thanks so much, and wishing you all a good day. Thanks for watching.